I looked at an old interview where I asked you about children, and you definitely wanted kids.
Yeah.
So, and you had the fibroid surgery recently?
Yes, I did.
So now
2 weeks ago, actually.
2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
So that kind of cleared you medically.
Yes.
To have a child.
Yes. I'm ready to go.
Right.
What are you doing at 6 o'clock?
You know, it's interesting because if we go to dinner at 6 o'clock, I ruin the plot line for the show. Isn't there a sperm bank in the future?
You know what? Like I said, I am very analytical, and I think about what all my options are. So I did visit a sperm bank because I wanted to know, okay, well, if I have to do that route and I don't want to have the ties to a baby's daddy if I'm not married by that time, you know, maybe that's an option too.
Some of your castmates were here, and I promised myself that I would make sure you got a chance when you came to speak on some of the things they talked about in all fairness.
I appreciate that.
Because that conversation was one-sided. Portia was here, Phaedra was here.
Yes.
Should we talk a little bit about Textgate so you can get your side out? And could he, Apollo, could he have smashed it if he wanted to?
First of all, that's so tacky to even say a married man, to say that in front of his wife. That is the tackiest thing. And trust me, if he could have, he would have. We all know his reputation around Atlanta. He likes his extracurricular activities, but that doesn't have anything to do with me. And I don't want any parts of any married man, so let's just be clear about that. Apollo, after we did not work together because they didn't want to pay me, me and his wife fell out. And months later, he sent me a text. It was friendly, platonic, and I responded to the text. But he initiated that text. I want to be perfectly clear. However, when I responded, even though it was chaste, that opened the door for all this other BS that they're now spreading, out about me, saying I met him in LA, and that never happened. I've never seen him outside of a Real Housewife of Atlanta taping ever. So that's a complete lie. And I just think whatever woman would believe that lie, especially a woman that's supposed to be an attorney, has to be the dumbest attorney I've ever seen in my life to believe a story like that without any facts. You know, you're going to check your husband's facts first. But to get on television and then to slander me outright, that's hitting well below the belt, and she'll pay for that.
There was an interesting thing that came out of the show with Portia talking about the Underground Railroad. And yeah, and when we all found out who she was related to when this started to unfold, would you like to take it from there? Because I think that's what makes it the most interesting.
Yeah.
That she's from a very, very affluent civil rights family.
She is. Her grandfather is Hosea Williams. He has a street named after him in Atlanta, and he was a civil rights activist. And that's part of his, Portia it's not her legacy, but it is his legacy. She's his grandchild. And for her not to know anything about the Underground Railroad, which she should know more about it than any of us, really. She should know it backwards and forwards. And the fact that he did all of that work.
She thought there was a conductor for the railroad, as a train?
She thought that the Underground Railroad was an actual railroad underground where there's a train that, had stops for the slaves, and they would get on and pay their fare and say, yes, please take me to freedom. And they said, oh, yeah, it's 2 stops. So this is what we deal with on the show, but it's embarrassing. I almost feel sorry for her to be, I don't want to use the word dumb, but dumb, and to show that to the world. We all make mistakes, but the ignorance is something that's hard to deal with. I feel that on a lot of levels, we failed her.